what's up everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Resident Roleplay. This is a show where a group of friends and I get together and play homebrewed tabletop RPG set in the world of Resident Evil. I'm your host and GM, and welcome back everybody. After our abrupt ending last time, hopefully that doesn't happen again. I don't know about any Wi-Fi storms. Is that a thing? Alright. Well, actually, let me adjust our screen here, because our roster has changed up a bit since, since I started the stream. And hey, I see Skull Reapers in the chat. How you doing? So... I've seen that as well. Yeah, I've seen newer and newer comments from Skull Reaper. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you... That'd be neat if you're all caught up now to be watching while we're going live. So, one thing that we forgot to mention last week was that our latest action short, Finger Gun Fu, had gone up on that Friday. So if you haven't already seen it, we've been showing a little teaser promo before the stream each time. So that full short is up on the YouTube channel now, if you haven't already seen it. So that's been in the works a while. Lauren's been working at it and finally went up. And of course, Trial of the Century as well is still up. And we have a making of video coming out hopefully next week for that. So yeah, a little bit of behind the scenes. That'll be neat. And of course, we also have a special live stream coming up for the Edenith Chronicles 3rd anniversary, which will be coming up on May the 5th. And we're basically, Lauren and I are going to go through the world, explore it a bit, and do a little bit of retrospect, and have a little special announcement to come along with that. But, yeah, I haven't made a formal announcement of that over the social media landscape yet, but I'll probably do that at some point this week. Right? Hold on. There you guys are. Okay, yeah, you guys should now be hearable. I had forgotten about that.
We're muted.
Yeah, you were muted for a second there. Okay. That was my bad.
Yeah, I hear us on stream now, so we're good.
Yeah, because I had the music playing too, and I just realized, yeah, that wasn't coming through either. Okay. Good thing we got that out of the way during the announcements, though.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to finish the announcements. I was like...
I think that's all the entire order of business, though. Thank you for pointing that out, Skull Reaper. So are we ready to get into things?
I believe so. Depending on where we are.
That's true. So we got cut a bit short last time, but we will basically be picking up in the same spot of walking around Camp Clancy, but I presume you all got most of the busy work that you were looking to be doing done last time, so we could kind of take off in different directions here. But let's catch everyone up first. So, previously, on Resident Roleplay, with the party reunited at Camp Clancy, and Chauncey freshly promoted to head of the BSAA's North American branch, you reviewed the contents of the manifold hard drive that Mr. G had gathered on his previous mission. You gleamed a plethora of new intelligence on the AO-55 mass-produced Artemis model, the android Enyo, the current crisis, which they have dubbed Operation First Light, as well as an AACT research facility at Port Warren, a power armor project called Project Ares, which was designed to make their biologically enhanced super soldier Aiden Sampson basically unstoppable, and a doomsday machine called Project Titan. But most importantly, you learned the location of your enemy's elusive headquarters, Manifold Tower, which, as you found, is located somewhere in the Baffin Bay region. With this intel, you readied yourselves by gearing up and delegating your units to scout out some of these targets as you prepared to travel to your next destination. So, as Katara drives back to Camp Clancy from her inner city shopping trip, and the rest of you traverse the still battle-torn grounds of the base, making your own preparations. Anything any of y'all are doing at this moment?
Trying to remember what all I've said I've done. I wrote some of it down. Because I think I've done everything I need to do at the base. The only thing I need to do now for Mr. G is all of the, like, just basically all of his bookkeeping.
Right. And still, yeah, carry out your delegation and whatnot.
Yeah, just orders and whatnot.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the list that I wrote. It's gonna take me. It might take me a bit to find it. If anyone else has anything they need to do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if Chauncey's here right now, but I suppose anybody would be passing through the sort of foyer area or in and around the war room area would see that there's an incoming transmission at the war room terminal that is coming in.
Transmission at the terminal?
Yeah, the war terminal has an incoming transmission that's pending, basically, for whenever it can get around to, or anyone can get around to it. And it's currently at this time...
Chauncey, phone!
It's currently at this time pushing into evening. It's about 5 p.m. on this particular day, on May the 3rd. You just waltz into the war room?
I'll check. I'm assuming I'll be in the war room if that's the way we're getting acknowledged.
Okay. So, Chauncey, you're in the war room. And you do see that there's an incoming transmission from the BSAA team that's in Guadalajara.
Okay. I'll check it. What's it say?
All right. Well, it's basically like it's a full-on call. Someone's trying to get in touch with you from there.
Oh. Then I'll answer it.
So, answering it, you see a familiar face pop up on a holographic display. One you haven't seen in a good long while. It's Parker Luciani, who you knew back in the FBC, but has actually since transferred to the BSAA.
Oh.
And he pops up on the screen, his sort of tall, bulky the physique, his slightly tan face with wavy brown hair, and his kind of stubble over his face. But he's all done up in BSAA gear, and looks to be in intense field work, as you might expect. And he just pops up and says, "Ah, Chauncey. Been a long time."
Indeed it has.
I think the last time I talked with you, we might have both still been at the FBC.
Oh, those days are long behind me. I don't even remember the last time I was with them.
Oh, yes, indeed. And after that conspiracy that I helped to uncover about their dealings in the shadows, I must say I too do not miss working for such a vile organization. But I must say,
yeah,
congratulations on the promotion. I've just heard word.
Well, I'll take congratulations whenever I actually prove fully worthy of this position, but appreciate your acknowledgement.
Yeah, well, in any case, I'm sure you've done a lot to deserve it. Now, I've been told that you are supposed to be sending reinforcements our way here in Guadalajara, correct?
That was the intent.
Are you plan on leading that charge, or are those days behind you now that you're in a seat of higher power?
I don't think those days are behind any of us, but do you feel it necessary that I come and lead the charge, or you think my team should be adequate enough?
That's quite the spirit you have. Well, perhaps I could give you some more insight on how things are going here, and you can decide for yourself. The G virus outbreak here in Guadalajara is quite severe and quite widespread. Our team arrived rather late. We didn't have anyone stationed nearby, and it has gotten quite far. At least half of all the denizens have turned into G creatures that have infected countless other denizens. In fact, the outbreak has also caused this strange material to spread over much of the region. We're uncertain what short or long-term ecological effects it may have, but it's certainly quite abnormal. But the way I see it, the infection here is so widespread that our options are quite limited. We could continue to fight as we've been doing, but our numbers are dwindling, and quite frankly, their numbers are only multiplying. Our only hope is to either wipe this city off the map like Terra Grigia or Raccoon, or, if possible, and if scientifically feasible, we could preserve the city and all of the innocents within it if we could deploy some sort of airborne antidote.
An airborne antidote, huh?
Yes, but that's quite outside of my area of expertise, my friend. I don't know if you have any scientific advisement that could perhaps look into whether there's any hope of such a thing, because if not, this G virus is quite dangerous and spreads quite fast. If we don't contain it soon, it could quite quickly go across the Panama Canal, into South America, across the border, into the United States. No telling how far it could go. So this place needs to be either wiped out, or the G virus exterminated entirely.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to see any innocents hurt. But obviously, if it's getting to a point where there is no return, we'd have to make those calls at that moment in time. But I do have significant amount of scientific advisories that I can bank on and see what they say or what they can come up with, and helps to possibly do a cleansing of the area in a safe, humane manner.
That would be ideal.
So, let me conversate with them for a little bit, and I'll give you a call back.
Sounds good. And let me know what you find, and we'll look forward to your arrival should you decide to come here, or your extraction should you decide to nuke the place. I'll transmit our coordinates to you. We're staying at an abandoned warehouse and have sort of made it our base of operations with a few local police and civilians. We're holding out as best we can. I don't know how much longer we will be able to hold out. Time is of the essence. So, do let me know what you find.
Yeah, give me an hour.
And he blinks out.
I just hang up. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and page over the loudspeakers. Tara.
There's like this annoying screech at first when it first comes on, just like, and then you just hear your name just repeated over and over again.
Is this like as she's coming back?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you're just parking out by the vehicle depot. You start hearing that coming over.
It's been going for like 5 minutes already.
As he hears this over the loudspeaker, Kevin decides to walk toward the command center and see what all the fuss is about. He's curious. He has Jack going on right now. He's done everything he can. So
yeah, Katara will like get out the car, just be like, "Oh, well, time to go check this out," and then just heads over.
All right. So the two of you end up kind of convening in the war room around the same time. With Chauncey waiting for you.
Hey, heard I was called.
Yeah. Being that you'd be the person in that I think would have the most knowledge on any virus known to man outside of the people that created all the viruses. What do you know about any kind of antidote for the G virus?
Antidote. So in her time, working at Nest, and I guess just like throughout stuff, would there have been any talk that she's come across or any files based on potential antidotes? Like, no?
Make a history check.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Here's open. Kev has what?
13.
13. Okay. So you know that the history of the G virus is quite shrouded in a lot of secrecy, especially during its early years. It was a very sort of exclusive project to the Birkin family. But you would have known just through the grapevine at Nest of stuff like the devil vaccine and things like that were in early development. You've never seen such a thing come to fruition, though, and to your knowledge, a lot of that information was lost with Raccoon City. You do, however, with that check realize, or at least recall, that you do know who the world's greatest living expert would be on the G virus, by name. It is an old acquaintance of yours, Dr. Frederick Downing.
Oh.
Who used to be one of the head researchers at Will Pharma. Now, I believe, and you've actually met him during this campaign as well. I think you and Emil met him.
We did a job for him.
Yeah, you guys did a job for him.
Yeah, we did.
He was the one who hired you guys to go after the Manifold when the Manifold stole G-Virus samples from him. But you do know that he is still alive. You don't know with that role necessarily off the top of your head where he is. But with BSAA resources, you may be able to easily find out, or even Mr. G's, intelligence gathering network.
I was about to say BSAA or Mr. G.
So she's like, so I don't know too much. I will say that I heard something about a devil vaccine, but that knowledge is lost to back in Raccoon City. I do know someone, though, who we could search for, by the name of Dr. Frederick Downing, knows a lot about this. I worked with, he hired myself and Emil to go do some searching for a G-Virus because Manifold was stealing from him. I don't know where he is, but if we can go through and search for him and get a lead, we can probably go ask him about it. He might know more.
How long do you think that would take?
Depends. How long does it take? How long would it take BSAA to search? Because we could get Mr. G.
Oh, I'm sorry, I heard my name.
Yeah. We need to find somebody. I don't know where this man is, Dr. Frederick Downing.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
We need his expertise on the G virus.
I'll say, Mr. G, you can also make a history check.
Well, if you want me to, I'll let him make a history check. That's fine.
I mean, you could, yeah, like I said, you guys could pretty easily find stuff. I just want to see what you know off the top of your head.
Yeah, I was actually hired to kill this guy ages ago. That's supposed to be a +1, I guess, but it's a 15.
Oh, 15. So
I don't know where the 1 went.
Yeah. So you did recognize that name, as the name of a known bioterrorist at this point.
A potential target at one point.
Potential target, yeah, but he was taken care of. As far as you know, he's in a federal prison somewhere, locked up real good.
Oh yeah, he's in jail. We can get it easy.
Oh?
I can go there right now, actually.
That's simple. All right. Yeah, we're gonna need his help on some stuff.
I'll go get it. Just gonna walk out.
All right, start walking to the nearest federal prison. Okay. So
I'm gonna make a phone call to the federal prison where he's at.
Okay. And given your resources, you put in a request and you could pretty easily gather that information. You do know that he is being kept at the United States Penitentiary Harvardville, which is also the city where...
Is it Harvard?
Harvardville.
Is it Harvard?
Harvardville! Which is the city where Will Pharma was originally based out of, the place that Emil and Katara had to travel to meet with him. But evidently there's some sort of federal prison in that city, with a small but pretty notorious population, among which is Frederick Downey.
Did he get expedited back to that prison or at some point, or did he get straight caught while he was working at at Will Pharma?
No, yeah, I mean he got caught as part of a whole conspiracy involving Wolf Pharma, where and I guess Mr. G would know this history, given your access to intelligence, and given how you recognize them as a bioterrorist. Yeah, he straight up caused a T-virus outbreak and equipped he equipped another domestic terrorist with T-virus and G-virus samples in order to collect data on it and sell that, to further sell the virus to the highest bidder, which he had some buyers lined up.
State, though?
He did not make it out of the state. Well, rather, he made it. He may have made it out of the state, but he got sent right back to there when he got locked up.
I'm heading there to what do you call it? Interrogate him.
Okay, so Mr. G's already heading in that direction.
If you want to call him, I can talk to him over the phone.
I'm gonna call. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the fastest way to transmit information at the moment.
It is.
Yeah.
It's harder to intimidate somebody over the phone.
I have an hour.
Well, Chauncey, you take some time to go over the phone lines and try and get in touch with USP Harvardville, and you do manage, after going through some bureaucratic red tape, to get in touch with somebody on the staff there, and after dropping enough of your name and position and your BSAA affiliation, you are able to secure some sort of communication with them. But what you gather after maybe an hour or so of going in circles on the line is that you will not be able to have a phone conversation with this particular inmate, and being that this is a pretty high security facility, they will allow visitors, but obviously all interaction has to be carefully monitored with these high risk inmates. So they prefer that you would have to go there for a visit if you are to speak with them at all.
How far away is this location?
That's a brief road trip away, maybe 2-3 hour drive.
Unless you're breaking the law.
Although with your BSAA resources, it's worth noting that as the head of the BSAA's North American branch now, you could actually pretty easily orchestrate air travel now. It's not like before where you had to find some airstrip to co-opt from any American military. No, you could straight up call in transport helicopters to whatever location you want now. So you could have someone land on your roof and just take you anywhere from there. You've essentially got the party's primary transportation ability now with your new position.
I head to the roof then.
So yeah, Chauncey, the North American BSAA transportation is pretty much at your beck and call. So all you have to do is say the word, and you could get somebody to give you a ride from a helicopter.
Tara,
Yes.
down for a ride?
Sure.
All right, let's go. I'm assuming Mr. G is going to somehow grapple hook onto the bottom of any helicopter.
I mean,
so I'm not even going to invite him.
I'm already in the helicopter. I'm actually driving it.
Oh, yeah, you probably are the pilot. Don't worry, I'll steal the USB later.
I still do have a hard drive on me. If you want that.
Oh yeah, and did you ever give a copy to Mrs. X?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm assuming because we did make the copies, and I'm assuming we made a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like a copy for X, a copy for Camp Clancy, and then I have the original, which I'm giving back to. Wait, no. Yeah, the original is being held at Camp Clancy, and the copies being sent to Fox, right?
Right.
That's the way we decided it was going to happen.
Yeah, it's up to you. All you know is that Mr. Fox, desired to have, that intel to begin with. So
I'm gonna doctor the copy that I'm sending him.
okay, how are you gonna doctor it?
I'm just gonna remove any. I'm just gonna remove any.
Are you doctoring all copies, or what?
No, the one for Fox.
Yeah, but what? If I end up sending one to to my sister that's undoctored, Fox is gonna get the undoctored version.
I guess I'll doctor all of them then. Yeah, you're right.
All but the main and the one that I have just as a spare for the BSAA.
All the copies. Doctor all the copies that are made. Just to remove Aiden's name from any thing.
All right. Trying to figure out if this is a deception or a technology check.
Should be both.
Yeah, I know. Too bad you can't do. You can't do
and
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe probably intelligence deception check.
Nah.
Yeah, and intelligence to see if he's capable of doing it. Deception to see how good he does it.
To see how tracelessly you could do it, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, so intelligence deception, yeah. That'll be it. I was gonna say you can't kit batch two skills together, but you can do the abilities at least.
So that would be intelligence, deception. Okay. 24.
Whoa!
Ooh.
All right.
It was pretty low. Okay. I'm kidding.
You hack the system,
that's my highest.
and you
Almost my highest. My second highest skill.
Remove any trace of the name Aiden Sampson or any reference to the beast.
So now this is just it's just a regular ass power suit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
essentially, yeah. So you remove all those references, and it's pretty seamless. In fact, it just it reads well enough, that it reads like complete sentences. It doesn't look like it's been tampered with too extensively. Unless somebody knew what they were looking for, they wouldn't even think anything was missing.
Perfect. I'm keeping all the copies all the copies that were made were going to be that version. Only the original is going to have all the intact information. And I think the original is just going to be like held under like lock and key in a vault somewhere in Camp Clancy.
All right. So at this point, then, you guys are arranging transport to USP Harvardville. And I presume at this point, Mrs. X is going her separate way to report back to Mr. Fox with that intel.
Oh, yeah. She'll head back to Mr. Fox, basically go through debrief and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Although there is going to be something that she brings up to Mr. Fox. Like the contents of the meeting.
Which meeting?
The stuff going on with Guadalajara.
Right, okay. So you're going to relay that information to him as well.
Yeah, and her whole thing is going to be like, her whole thing to him is basically going to be like, listen, like, I want to go through and help out in this fight, help out in the cause in terms of, like, you know, stopping this guy as much as possible. I don't know where you might need me, but they might need me somewhere. And one of the only reasons is because if this dude wins just from like what's been happening, we may not have a job.
Okay.
So that's her whole thing.
Yeah. So we'll say, for the sake of brevity, to kind of go into this conclusion for Mrs. X. Yeah, Chauncey, would you be providing transport for her to get back where she needs to go, or?
He said be right back.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, but I would say, yeah, you could eventually get back to Langley easy enough. But yeah, you run that by Mr. Fox, and his response is basically along the lines of, yes, I recognize that. Quite frankly, the manifold has made itself too big of a threat to be ignored right now. Quite frankly, I've been playing footsies with Walker for so many years, I'm not about to let him outpace me at the last minute. Rest assured, I've got assignments for you that will bring you into this conflict.
Okay, she's right. And sign me up wherever you need me.
And he's going to start putting her, as well as the rest of the alphabet soup, to work on a variety of tasks. Some of them, and you see, like, Langley has been bustling, obviously. And you see the beginnings of the alphabet soup. It seems most of them are at Langley right now. And this is
a lot of people.
Yeah, and G and X, both of you would recognize this is a rarity. The alphabet soup is basically Mr. Fox's personal army of intelligence, field agents. And they're usually dispersed all throughout the world on a variety of, missions, be them diplomatic or cloak and dagger, all manner of intelligence gathering. And right now, yeah, you see for the first time in a long time, most of these alphabet soup agents are in the same place. And right now, you get the sense G is Mr. Fox's primary arm in the field, as well as you from that previous mission. So it seems like there's a lot of analyzation going on, and after you deliver that intel, there's a lot more analyzing that's about to go down. And then he's going to start giving field work for the war on the manifold to continue in his shadowy sort of way.
Sweet.
So that's a little glimpse that Mrs. X gets into what's going on with the CIA right now. Meanwhile, Mr. G, you're back at Camp Clancy. The helicopter, the sun's starting to go down by the time the helicopter finally arrives. But for Mr. G, Chauncey, and Katara, transport is made available to you as it touches down in the middle of the rooftop. And you don't really, there's not a helipad on the rooftop since you guys haven't purchased any of your own aerial vehicles. So you haven't really had need to get one installed, but it's surprisingly functional. There's a pretty wide space between any sort of utility on the rooftop such that any decent air transport has a nice little open area to land on that gravelly rooftop.
Now that we don't have any AA guns up there.
Yeah, that too. Okay.
And yeah, just heading on.
All right. So y'all set foot on the helicopter and take the ride down to Harborville, which is even more brief than what the brief road trip would have been. So the chopper, you give the destination, the chopper flies you out to the sort of outskirts of Harvardville, and the sort of mountainous region surrounding it. You are brought to this sort of open clearing where you see the penitentiary below. The road there, which you see cutting through the forestry on your way up, is long and lonely, and if you were going by road, you realize it would have took you through the backwoods essentially and deep into these surrounding mountains. But when you finally arrive, you find the compound again in the middle of this clearing, surrounded by imposing high stone walls. And at one corner is a tower from which an armed guard keeps watch with a rifle. But you land sort of beside a few other vehicles in a nearby lot. That sort of makeshift lot, their vehicles just sort of parked about on the grass outside. But you touch down there and are able to disembark and approach the front gates, which are made of a sort of thick steel. And the guard at the booth beside them stops you for identification, which between the three of you is plentiful. Like, Mr. G, you've basically got credentials to go anywhere. And Chauncey, you were, with your BSAA credentials, of course, as well as, being expected here, having called ahead of time, are pretty easily able to bypass this guard. You're very legit. So after verifying and authorizing your visit, the steel gates roll open, and you're allowed into the sort of main yard, a wide area which is open to the skies with crunchy gravel underfoot, and even the walls of the inner compound are stark gray. It's all bleak. In this yard, you are met with a gentleman in a fine suit, which is gray like the walls around him, and he's accompanied by a couple of guards. But in this sort of wide area, you meet with this man, and he, extends his hand to shake with each of you.
I don't shake his hand, but I'm not like ungreeting. I'm like, what the hell's the dude's name that we're here to see? Frederick. I need to speak with Frederick now. Take me to him.
And he's just like, no time for pleasantries, I see. Well, my name is Hugo
Sorry,
Jones.
people are dying. I have people to tend to. You're slowing me down.
Well, I appreciate your vigor. I will get you to Frederick Downing with a guard escort, but I'll have you know that I run a tight ship here, and the prisoner that you're asking to see is a Category A inmate, which is of the highest security. He's deemed to be a high threat to society and to police and to the state. And after being convicted of carrying out such viral outbreaks and selling bioweapons to the black market, I don't want to give the impression that this is somebody that you can just speak to ordinarily. Now, of course, being the head of the BSAA branch, I'm obligated to give you any audience that you request, but I'll have you know that I was opposed to such a meeting. You see, Dr. Downing is a snake. If you're going to speak to him, you should take care not to trust a word he says.
Thing is that I don't need to trust him. I need him to fix something, and I need him to fix it as soon as possible. People's lives are at stake, and I ain't got time for this. I understand that you feel it necessary to run a tight ship. I run a tight ship, but my ship protects human life. Yours is just keeping people in cells. So please, if you don't mind, I'd like to go speak to this individual and get the information I need. Time is of the essence. Thank you very much for understanding. And I continue to walk.
So you just kind of push on past him, and then he steps aside.
The entourage of just like this like proper scientist and some gangsta dude.
All right, so you push onwards, and the guards accompany you from that point forward. You are brought to the double doors on the opposite side of the yard, and which are electronically locked, but as you approach them, you hear the kind of beep that goes off as they are unlocked, and seeing some CCTV cameras looking at you from some of the corners of this area. You enter in there to the inner halls, and from the inner halls are escorted by these guards to cell block B, which is quite a notorious cell block. I'll say, Mr. G, given your history, you know your way in and around a few prisons throughout this country. You know by reputation that this cell block at this particular federal prison is known as Bioterrorists Row, cell block B in USP Harvardville. It is home to quite a few notorious convicted bioterrorists. And so, as you
Not just Frederick Downing?
Not just Frederick Downing. To your knowledge, he may be one of the more notorious in here, but he's not the only one. Whether they have been, either attempted or got away with something. In the case of Frederick Downing, like I said, he may be the most notorious so far as he got really far before he was finally caught. He actually succeeded in orchestrating some outbreaks. So you enter into that cell block, being led one gate at a time through various secured checkpoints. As you head down, you see on either side of the bleak corridor are cells behind plexiglass walls, each one housing inmates that stare as you go by. You pass by one bald, shirtless man, well-built with a torso covered in various tattoos, which include a swastika and an iron cross. He is crouched. Yeah, you give him a nod, and he seems to give a look of almost recognition to you, even if not very direct recognition, at least a sort of factional recognition, if you understand what I mean. But he's crouched and sort of leaning forward on the side of his bed, just staring at you all. Nods to Mr. G. You see, you pass another cell. You see a darker man, perhaps Middle Eastern in his features, with full beard, leaning against the wall in a dark red jumpsuit. Closer look reveals a scar coming down one of his brows. Continue moving on before you just hear an intense just bang to one side. In another cell you pass, you see a scrawny man with long wild hair and droopy eyes slamming against the plexiglass, laughing and clawing at you as you go by. One of the guards that's accompanied you just slaps at the glass wall with his baton, just like, hey, back up. Eventually, you reach the very end of this hall, where you find in the wall one last cell, secluded and sort of on its own. And inside that cell is a man, that would be familiar at least to Katara. You see Frederick Downing, dressed in a dark red prison jumpsuit, with his square jaw and glasses, his almost youthful features, but, well-kept silver hair combed neatly over to one side. And he's sort of standing in the middle of his cell, his hands behind his back, looking at all of you. Why, hello there. I heard I was going to be having visitors.
Really quick. So he's just in his cell, and there are guards accompanying us.
Yeah, there are guards sort of standing behind you all, just staying close by.
Where are the cameras that are close by here?
Since the hallway is just like a straight shot, just like, you know, straight from one end to the other, there's only one camera, and it's at like basically the very beginning of the hallway. It's on the opposite end from where you're at.
No, you can see into the room.
Well, in theory, if there was nobody standing in the hall, I would be able to see pretty clearly into this cell. But since you guys are basically all between that camera and the cell.
Oh, so like all the other cells are lining the hall, and this cell is facing
basically, yeah,
the middle of the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that makes it hard. And there's no way we can get him into a separate room.
To your knowledge, this is the best audience you're going to get.
How many guards are with us?
Just a couple, just two. They sort of stand idly by.
Do I notice Mr. G looking around at cameras and whatnot?
Oh, I've been casing the joint since we got in.
Like, while we're walking to this cell, can I like drop back to Mr. G, because I'm assuming he's tagging behind a little bit, and whisper to him, if you need to go take a look around, by all means, do whatever you feel is necessary to make sure we end up getting information out of this guy. And I kind of like glance up at like a computer saying, you know, if you need to go take control.
I might be about to. Do you want to lead, or I guess, if I take control, do you want to lead the the interrogation, or do you want me to do that?
I'll do the interrogation part, don't you?
All right, I guess he's all yours. I'm just gonna drop back.
All right. Guards take notice, but don't seem too interested. You know, like they're just like, oh yeah, don't have the stomach for talking to this one, huh? And just keep on moseying on with the rest of your group. Like not really their concern anymore.
Katara, you're here because you'll understand whatever he has to say.
You know, she's like, oh, I know.
I know you could take a hit, but I'm gonna hit this dude if I need to. Be prepared.
Understood.
And I say it like just enough that she's gonna hear and understand me, but not like the guards moseying along with us would know.
Mm-hmm.
Just so everybody's on the same page as we go into this interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
As we line up and the gentleman introduces himself, just going to look at the guards and be like, you mind opening this so I can go in and talk to this gentleman?
Guards
do we have our earpieces in?
Yeah, and if you so choose.
I don't mind.
Because as soon as I would have dropped back, I would have just like signaled you to put your earpieces in so I can communicate with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the guard responds just like, sorry, no can do. You'd have to get permission from the warden first if we were to do something so bold.
Mr. G will say, like, see if you can get him away from see if you can get them out of the hallway. Can I make my way towards a... what's the easiest place to get to get access to their systems?
I would say make since you're casing the joint on your way in, I'll say you can make a retroactive perception check. See how much of the how well you cased it, how much you gathered.
I rolled twice on my end. 15 with my highly skilled.
Right. So, yeah, you would have noticed that pretty close to the front entrance, there was a security wing. You didn't see into the room, but you saw, just by the way the system was set up, you could tell it was pretty close by, just down a couple of halls. Although falling back, again, you do have to go through some sort of checkpoints, so to speak, right? You have to get through like the gates that you entered that the cell block B from. So kind of because they kind of shut behind you guys after you went in. So
cards?
Going back, as far as you could tell, it's all manually operated from the security wing. But being that they know who you were, and seeing you doubling back, they if you were to just like signal to one of the CCTV cameras, they would open it up for you.
How many people are between me and the security wing that I can see? Like, do I know how to get to the security wing from here?
Yeah, you would have a pretty decent idea of that. It's not a huge, complex layout, even if there are a lot of halls. But as far as like guard patrols or anything like that, you didn't see too much like that. You get the sense that most guards are either, concentrated in some sort of watch position, like you saw the one outside, or in more concentrated areas of prisoners, by the cell blocks and things like that. But the cell blocks are more so on the western side of basically the entire facility, whereas the security booth and all of that are more so to the east. So they're kind of on opposite ends. So there's, from what you're able to gather, there's pretty big separation.
So what I need to do is I need to get access to their feeds. Obviously I can't be in the same room as them. Is there a way that I can get basically like cut my way into their feeds from any like piping that comes in and out of that room? And if I need to go through a duct or get into the ceiling, I will.
All right. So you're looking around for some sort of avenue of that?
Yep. If I need to get into the ceiling
so you've gotten
sit on top of the room, I will.
Gotcha. So at this point, you've gotten out of the cell block at this point, correct? You've signaled to get the gate opened up to get out of the cell block and back into the rest of the halls?
Sure.
All right. So at least that CCTV camera has seen you. But after that, I'll need you to make a stealth check to see how well you can navigate around here, sort of avoiding as many eyes as you could see. Yeah, still a stealth check in that case.
Does this benefit from my boots?
The boots are for sound, right?
Yeah.
I would say in this case it's mostly visual that you're looking
That's what I was thinking.
To avoid.
Because I have just a macro just for straight.
Yeah. Visual and social, but I would say, I'd measure it the same check.
Yeah, but no advantage on it though.
Yeah, correct.
That is 25 because I'm highly skilled.
Right. So
That's insane.
I know. This is what end gameplay looks like. We're getting there. So yeah, you signal the one CCTV. You hear as the gates open to let you out of the cell block before closing behind you, leaving the rest of your party in that hall with all of the bioterrorists. But as soon as you exit that gate, you go around the corner, and whoever's in the security booth is probably really confused because they just let you through, and then they go to the next camera, and it's just like, where'd he go? And you're just like pretty much
up with the cameras on B again.
Yeah. And so it's like you're pretty much you're in the win. You're sticking to the blind spots and staying out of view of any of the cameras and any of the sort of stationed guards that you noticed on the way up. Now make an investigation check.
I'm super familiar with these cameras. I know the refresh times. I know I can move fast enough to like dash through any of the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know your way around
zones.
A few prisons.
What was the check?
Investigation.
Just straight.
Mm-hmm.
Charisma investigation?
Nope, this would be intelligence.
But I did a intelligence deception earlier.
You did. That doesn't apply here.
Balance it out. 21 with my.
So you wind down back the halls from where you came, and you find yourself back at that entrance, those double doors that would lead out to the yard. You don't go that way, but again, you know those double doors were connected to the security booth directly because they were electronically locked. And sort of tracing some of the signs of construction that you see around the walls, and it's not quite that difficult. Because as you know, with prisons, they're designed to keep the people inside, and the people inside don't have access to the kind of gear that you're carrying on you right now. And so a lot of the wiring is kind of exposed, and a lot of sort of utility work is, not necessarily...
convenience.
Yeah, not necessarily strictly concealed, just because the typical inmate, that's not the problem they're worried about with the inmates even here. They just would not have the means to do any sort of tampering with it. And they wouldn't even be in, navigating these sort of areas often anyway. And if they are, then they're very strictly guarded and monitored. So, yeah, a lot of it has never really had any real necessity to be strictly covered up. And so with your investigation check...
This stuff is ancient.
With your investigation check, you're pretty easily able to find some vulnerabilities that are exposed wiring and other implements connecting the electronic security that are out of view of certain CCTVs. That's the main thing you spend your time looking for. But within a few minutes, You're able to find a pretty good vulnerable spot.
I'm hooking in.
All right. And you might have to prop yourself up a bit just to get to the corner of the ceiling where some of that wiring is going along.
I'm hanging upside down with my grapnel.
All right, yeah, you just Sam Fisher style on the pipes above you, just zoop, and then just hang off of that and do some second story work, holding some of your tools in your mouth as you go to town with some various tools that you make an incision into this wiring and start connecting yourself into using your spy gadgets.
Mm-hmm. My fancy watch is coming back into play. Laser cutting open any of those PVC pipes.
Oh yeah. So you just and you go to town on that a little bit. I'll say you could go ahead and make we'll call it a mobility spy gadgets check. This is all thievery type work. Very fine incisions, almost surgery.
I think this is correct. No, this is actually, it has not been updated. New modifier is this. 26.
All right. So, without much ado, it takes you a few minutes, but it's all busy work. At one point, you hear a couple of guards coming down the hall, and you prepare to sort of conceal yourself from your position, but they don't end up coming around the corner, and you're able to go right back to work.
Half of concealing myself is putting my hand on a handgun. Wait, I don't have a handgun. I am unarmed. Whoops! I've got a hand grenade.
No, yeah. So
I'm assuming we couldn't take our big freaking rifles
you guys.
in here.
Yeah, that is the thing. You guys have most of your gear, but you were not allowed to take any weapons or firearms into the facility. Was the primary thing.
Yeah.
Just
and
because, and none of the
was on that list of.
Yeah, you are not. Yeah, you're not able to have any of that. You guys are unarmed in that regard. And you see the guards and everything. Obviously inside, none of them are carrying firearms. As far as you know, the only firearm you've seen so far on the premise was that guard in the tower outside. But that's about it. Just for security purposes. But you you do a little bit of work, and within a few minutes, you are jacked in. But meanwhile, over at Downing, Chauncey, how are you beginning this conversation as you're sort of waiting the time out for your ally?
You've got 5-6 minutes.
As they are telling me that I'm not allowed in without the warden's approval, I'm gonna look at them and ask them a few questions. Be like, "Oh, so you have any kids? You have any kids?"
And they kind of look at each other, kind of confused, and one goes like, "Yeah, I got a little girl back home. What's it to you?"
Okay. Do you want to protect that little kid of yours?
Of course I do.
Okay, so look at it in my perspective. I am in charge of protecting a lot of people's little kids, especially your little kid, and especially all little kids in problemed areas. And you're telling me that I'm not allowed to speak with this gentleman face to face without having prior approval by a warden that's just running a prison that doesn't care fuck all about your kid. And you're going to tell me that I'm not allowed to go in there and talk to this gentleman.
I'll say
I'll roll persuasion.
make a persuasion check on that one.
That's not intimidation. I thought that was intimidation.
I'll roll it just because I know the rest of the evening I'm going to do intimidation.
It wasn't necessarily threatening. You're right. You're making your
He's
opposing
threatening his
argument.
kid.
Oh my god!
He's threatening his kid. Doesn't help, but
come on.
Well,
It wasn't
then.
personally threatening.
I get
So-
bonus points for
Like, can I
telling
get-
them honest information.
Can I just give him like puppy eyes to help?
Katara's giving somebody puppy eyes.
Puppy eyes just for
Like,
a
I
moment.
could eat you.
He hesitates for a moment, but he's just like, I'm afraid rules are rules. It's how we're still alive right now, and a place like this, we've got dangerous people in here. And how exactly would being able to get in there make this go any better for you? You just need to talk to him, right?
I do. Do I know how he got arrested? This gentleman that's in here? How he got in prison?
I would say if Mr. G would have shared that information, because I think you I said you had that. If you would have shared that on the write-up.
Yeah, that would be no problem.
Yeah. So you would know then.
Quick briefing on the way.
Wait, no. I don't know how. How he got arrested.
I think you might have been away when we were going over that earlier. So he supplied a domestic terrorist with T-virus and G-virus samples, and then used the data and footage captured of those outbreaks that he caused to help him attempt to sell bioweapons on the black market.
Kennedy was the one who actually arrested him, right? Or he was there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who caught him?
The reports would have obviously shown that that was primarily the work of Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield, as well as some law enforcement allies, but we don't talk about them.
Okay. I look at this gentleman and I ask him if he knows who he was arrested by. Do you even know you were arrested by? Do you know why you're in this cell?
I know very well who arrested me.
Do you know why you're in this cell?
What are you getting at, mister?
Could you just answer the question for me, please?
I am in this cell for orchestrating bioterrorist incidents, same as many of the people on this block.
I look back at the guard. That guy's in here because of bioterrorism. Do you know what my job is?
You're BSAA.
What's BSAA do?
It kicks bioterrorists' butt.
So let me in this cell. That's all. That's it. It's as far as I'm gonna go with this guard. He don't let me in, I'm gonna just go ahead and break the cell door open or whatever I have to do to get in there.
Give it a couple minutes.
I'll say you can make another persuasion check off of that.
Already out of the 4 rolls that I've made, 3 pre-rolls and this one, they've all been under 5. Thank you. Let's go.
Watch, this is gonna be a 20.
Still on a streak from last week, I think.
I hit it, but it still isn't rolling. It's taking a really long time to roll dice. So
while he's rolling.
Yeah, meanwhile with Mr. G. Oh,
there it goes.
Oh, shit, Kevin called it.
Called it.
Kidding.
Oh,
Kevin called.
from the fucking Kevin over the phone. Hell yeah. Let's go. I beep in. Thanks, brother.
So this guard just kind of looks at you. He's just like, they kind of look between each other and just looks back to you and it's just like, hey, look, between you and me, we could turn a blind eye. Can't say what the cameras might catch, but I'll tell you what, we'll just be... And he kind of literally turns around and looks back down the hall. And it's just like, still standing in the same place, but just isn't looking in your direction or towards the cell.
Good to hear. So the cell's like open now?
It's not open, but they are not paying any mind to anything that you might be doing here. But meanwhile, with Mr. G, what's going on with you? What are you trying to do?
I'm gonna set that. I'm trying to set this the primary camera that's looking on the hall on loop, and I'm opening that door.
So yeah, you are jacked into the system. And so
I'm
you
hacked into the system.
Yeah, you have connections here. Yeah, and you can, with that primary connection, access the camera feeds and see through them and whatnot, and all that kind of stuff. To be able to orchestrate something like this will probably require an additional technology check.
Straight technology?
Yeah.
Without the aid of my spy gadgets?
Yeah, sure. I'll allow it to be spy gadgets, intelligent spy gadgets in that case. Yeah, it is a tool check.
I got scripts for these types of things. I ain't that smart. 23.
All right, yeah. So, script kitty as you are, you run a few scripts from your tool set. It's a bit of a precarious situation
just gotta
since you
see which one matches.
Yeah, since you don't have the access to the main console that this system is hooked up to. It is a little precarious as you're just hanging there and you're sort of like trying to finagle with your two hands. You eventually manage to get out your rollout keyboard and set up a sort of mini console through your wristwatch and plug in the right drives to be able to run the right script. And with a little bit of trial and error, you manage to encode the system to run a loop on that camera facing down cell block B, as well as gain control over the doors in that block.
Just the last 10 frames over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And given, and you sort of monitor it and wait for the opportune moment of minimal activity, which is pretty much most of the time, given some of its angles. You just wait for the stillest sort of portion of activity, and you make sure that's looped. And you get the sense it may be a while before something like that may be noticed. And you have gained control over that cell block.
Yeah, and I have access to the cells.
Mm-hmm.
I'm opening Frederick Downing's cell.
All right. Meanwhile, in cell block B, you hear as one sort of section of that plexiglass wall just loosens. As you see now, there is a sort of outline of a door on one side. And even the guards at this point kind of turn around, just like, what the? And they kind of look back. And Frederick Downing...
Blind eye, gentlemen. Blind eye.
Dr. Downing is just like, looks at this as well. He's just like, oh, what is this? This is not according to their protocol.
Don't you worry about protocol. And I walk through the door.
All right.
Katara is just like, do you want me to come in with you or stay out here?
That's up to you. I'll let you have some creative freedom with that part.
She cracks her knuckles and walks in.
Hell yeah. Fire up, initiate, intimidate.
That's the name of this team.
So, Dr. Downing at this point his hands are no longer behind his back and they're sort of out in front as he backs into the corner of his cell. And he's just like, "No, I don't know what sort of trickery you are attempting here, but you will not get away with this. This is highly illegal activity you are engaging in, and the head of the BSAA should not be doing such things."
Yeah. You can make him gurgle too, because I'm about to grab him by the throat. Up on the wall he goes.
Those two guards outside are like, "Oh shit."
Would you like to ask the questions?
She looks at Frederick. She's like, "So it's been a little bit since I've talked to you. And I was under the assumption or knowledge that you have knowledge that we need something that's going to help us greatly with a current outbreak."
I loosen up the grip on his throat, but like still holding him up against the wall so he can talk.
And what would that be?
There is a G virus outbreak.
G virus.
Hmm.
Nice.
Oh, go ahead.
I see why you came to me.
As he chuckles, I squeeze.
Now,
Ain't no laughing matter. Answer the lady any questions she asks, you answer.
Now, what we need is knowledge, at least behind its workings, and a cure. An antidote. I've heard at least of what was called devil, but not too much else. I was wondering if you knew more about that.
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't.
Can I lock the door?
If you so choose.
I'm just gonna close that door again.
It was like the door just seals shut. It's amazing, isn't it? How quickly I become necessary at times like these. It seems we may be able to make some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. I have knowledge you need. You can help me out of my dire predicament.
She just, that's not up to me. Just looks at Chauncey.
He kind of, looks Chauncey in the eyes as he's being sort of suspended by him. He's just like, what do you say? You have the resources, don't you?
Oh, he's muted right now.
Oh.
I have the resources to get in here. I'm not really sure if I have the resources to get back out of here. So let's just understand that there's a G outbreak. You are in here because of a G virus on the market. So I'm pretty sure that no matter what you say, no matter what I do, at the end of the day, we're both going to benefit because I'm going to get the antidote and you're going to serve time in here.
And how would helping you benefit me?
You'll still be alive.
Make an intimidation check with advantage, given the circumstances, and your help from Katara.
Mr. G is just gonna like propose in his ear. It's just like, I could always just kill him later.
Oh,
Me too.
All right.
All right. He's just, you know, on second thought, that seems like quite an appetizing deal. Okay, so it's information you need. G-Virus. Yes, devil vaccine, that does ring a bell. Remember that from our days at Nest. That knowledge, unfortunately, was lost in Raccoon City. But with the research I've done extensively on the G-Virus, I'm sure I could recreate something similar.
good. That's what we need.
Yes, I wouldn't be able to do so without resources, of course. You're going to have to give me some levity if you expect my help. I would need a laboratory, I would need supplies. And primarily, the hardest thing to acquire would be a pure sample of whatever sort of G-Virus strain is at play here.
Do I?
I'm not looking to get this dude out of jail. I really am not.
Looking more and more like you have to.
I'm not saying you need to full on give me a pardon. I am serving 200 consecutive life sentences with no chance of parole.
Ouch.
But at the very least, I would need some degree of mobility within here. Wouldn't you say that this task wouldn't be very possible without it? This is to save lives, after all.
She's just like, Because Katara has an idea. So she's just looking at Chauncey. She's like, you know, he has a point. We could use somebody like him over at the lab or in a lab. We put you under watch. Make sure you don't try to get away.
Of course, even prison guards, you know, from this facility may even jump at the opportunity to stay on my watch, even elsewhere, yes?
So it's all up to you, Chauncey.
So just for inner turmoil, Chauncey's thinking, if this guy is so enthusiastic about getting out of here, he has other ways, even under regular watch, that he's gonna find a way to get out. At Camp Clancy, we don't really have the ability to jail him the way he is currently being jailed. So the fear arises that we could be benefiting the Manifold by taking this guy out and him not doing what he needs to do and just trying to escape.
So Katara's thought on this was essentially, if we were able to get him a lab to start creating an antidote, and we get that all set up, in the event that he tries to escape, Mr. G could just assassinate him. Have Mr. G watch him, and then just, if he tries anything, boom.
I'm gonna spot him from the cameras.
Alright, he's been spotted.
I don't know if I can do that.
I'll allow it.
Oh, yeah.
Inner turmoil.
Oh, yeah.
How long will it take you to make this antidote?
It depends on the purity of the sample I have to work with. The purer the sample, the better. In theory, if you were to get a pure enough sample from either directly from the virus, which I don't think you have access to, I presume, or something from a large enough G creature that has been infected for a long enough time, tissue or blood sample from such a creature might suffice. After that, if it's, again, depending on the purity, it could be done within a day, maybe two, as long as I have access to all my former Will Pharma research, which I believe is being held somewhere.
Guitar smiles, just at the mention of a pure sample.
Does Katara smile about documents from Will Pharma?
That's totally what she's smiling about.
Yeah, you don't know. You just see her smile over there after all that.
I'm just saying, because like my thought process is she could probably make her own antidote with just the documents from Will Pharma.
I don't know.
I mean, she might be able to, but it would take longer.
Yeah,
Yes,
it would probably take a lot. Yeah, it would take a lot longer.
But
no one would be able to do it as quickly as I can.
But we don't break a criminal out of jail, especially one serving 2 life sentences. This turd bag.
Yeah, it was just 200.
Well, 200 life sentences, whatever. One's already too many. It's enough for Chauncey to not respect you.
The way I see it, you need me a little bit more than I need you, so we can work together and make this happen, or you can let people die.
Do I have communication with Camp Clancy via my Bluetooth?
Yeah, you could.
I beat my Bluetooth just one-handed touch it and call Camp Clancy right quick, or at least patch them into the line.
Okay, so that you're trying to get somebody to listen in, or
we're gonna ask somebody some questions real quick.
Okay, so yeah, you could patch through the Camp Clancy. Are you trying to get a hold of someone in particular?
Yeah. I keep forgetting his name. The lab rat.
Oh, Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn. That dude.
Yeah, so you could patch through and just ask for R&D department, and Quentin comes on and is just like, "Yeah, hello, boss.
You have the means of making me a transportable laboratory. Some way I can bring a laboratory of some sort of scale, like of decent scale, to Mexico with me."
Oh, it may take quite a few trips, but we could certainly use some transport helicopters, perhaps, to bring a few pieces of equipment at a time.
Let's just give me enough to make an antidote in Mexico.
Given enough time, it could be done, yeah. Want us to start transporting that stuff now, or?
Yeah.
Okay, it'll probably take maybe, for something like that, maybe a day's worth of transport, I estimate, at least. Maybe 2.
You start the transport. Also, go ahead and send the troops down. We got ourselves a special guest that's going to come with us.
Yeah, the troops, you're looking to mobilize all of Foxtrot team?
Most of Foxtrot.
Yeah.
We need to get out of here, bud. we need to keep this G at bay. and you go upstairs. Oh, well, he's not very scary with a Christmas hat on. Sorry. All right, hold on.
But yeah, Quentin relays that he's organizing that transport.
All I gotta do is get him out. I can take care of the rest.
I beep through. Just make sure our path is clear. I look at this gentleman and be like, here's my bargain for you. You're gonna come to Mexico with us. You're gonna see what's going on there. We're gonna get you your sample, and you're gonna build this in a timely fashion, with the risk of getting infected yourself. So you better work quickly, because it's spreading fast. And I kind of like toss him to the ground. Now get walking.
Okay, sounds like a fair deal. And he, just like after picking himself back up from the ground, and just sort of walks ahead of you out the plexiglass door in his cell, and leading out into that hallway. The guards at this point, who are turning a blind eye, are kind of looking over and is just like, whoa, we taking him out of his cell?
He's coming with us.
No, we're gonna have to arrange that with the warden, but we could escort you to him.
Can I use like the force to tell them they agree with this statement?
Mr. G's not there.
The force.
The floor?
Like, you know, like I wave my hand like, you do not see what's happening.
Hey, we can turn a blind eye to you going into his cell, but him coming out, that's something we're gonna have to work out with the warden.
All right, go ahead. Take us all down there.
Alright, follow suit. You may want to keep him in the cell until we get there.
Oh, no, he's coming with us.
Listen, we don't want this one trying to make a run for it while we're all distracted.
Katara goes, he won't get away. I promise you that.
Was I searched going into this building?
Well, you would have had to relinquish your firearms and whatnot. Like I said, you're all unarmed right now.
Oh, okay. You did say we were. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Alrighty.
So you said relinquished of firearms?
Well,
And
weaponry.
weapons.
So, okay. Okay.
I don't have a sword.
I still have all my bandoliers.
Yeah,
I am
you
a
have.
walking
Yeah, you
bomb.
have all non-weapon items. But
Okay. Because I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, wait, so you said he said firearms. I was like, I still have a stun baton.
no, yeah, all your weapons, anything that would be qualified as a weapon, you don't have on you anymore.
What, an LED torch? Be qualified as a weapon. It's just a flashlight.
Don't worry, like literally, if you were to explode one of my bandoliers, it would probably take out a city block. I'm just saying. Laser pointer that sucker, we're gone. I still tell them that this is only happening this way. He's not leaving my sight. If that means you have to get the warden down here, or if that means that I have to take him to the warden, your choice.
The one guard nods to the other and says, "Go get the warden." And he takes off running.
I am joining them at this point now.
Okay.
But does the one guard stand guard, or is
Yeah,
he
the
like,
one guard stays with
like,
you
is he-
guys. The one takes off running.
Is he still kind of taking a blind eye a little bit?
Not necessarily. Not at this point. Not after you've taken
Not anymore.
Oh man, I was
Dr.
thinking
Downey
if
out
he
of his
turned
cell.
around, judo chop right to the back of the head. Knock his ass out. We're getting out of here one way or the other.
On that note, I'm going to be joining them.
Okay. Are you? Have you set the cameras to be back to their usual state?
I'm resetting everything back.
Okay, yeah. So that one guard is able to get out, no problem, and you sort of pass by and return to that hall afterwards, or rather at the same time, and you're able to rejoin them.
Just keep the security guard manning that thing is like, I saw him leave, and now he's back.
A few minutes pass before Hugo Jonas, the warden, returns with that guard, and the gates just let him inside, and he joins you in the corridor as you're sort of. I assume you have Dr. Downing basically like by the arm in a sort of escort manner in your grip as he's approaching you guys from the opposite end of the hall. He's just like, all right, so I've been told that you're looking to bring this prisoner off the grounds.
Yeah.
May I ask what all your plan to take him off the ground entails?
Us taking him to Mexico, him building an antidote, him saving thousands of lives, if not more, in the long run. Don't worry, we'll put you in the small print.
I'm just trying to do what's best for humanity, Warden.
Shut up.
And Warden Jonas just kind of rubs his head. He's just like, and you believe you can adequately keep him on a tight leash?
With all due respect, Warden, this is going to happen one way or another. You're just going to have to determine the timeline.
If you feel that you don't think we can do it adequate enough, I'm more than happy to take some of your most trusted guards along with me. But again, you're going to be putting their lives at risk being this close to the outbreak of the G virus.
This is true. Make a persuasion check, Chauncey.
Also, by the way, earlier when I rolled, I actually am a +5 now. I totally forgot.
Oh,
right.
On my persuasion, yeah. It was only a +1 more, but still.
or on your intimidation,
correct.
or
yeah, on my intimidation.
yeah,
Earlier,
your persuasion's still
had
the same, right?
Yeah, my persuasion's always going to be natural. That's why I intimidate. But
can we help him?
Well, not after he rolled.
Okay, I'll ask you before he.
I don't need to intimidate. I feel confident.
No, because I was just saying, G's chipping in as well.
Oh.
Okay, but at this point,
Yeah,
I'll say with that 17.
I mean that's pretty good. So
yeah. He just sort of goes, all right. I don't know what to make of you, Mr. Clancy, but you seem to have at least as much a sense of justice as we try to enforce here. You know how dangerous this man is, and so you will not, I trust, let him in any sort of compromising circumstances. And I suppose if he dies there, then that's one less problem off my chest.
I kind of just like chuckle a little bit, like, don't worry, he's coming back. He's got a lot of lifetime to serve here.
Indeed.
And if he's gonna rid this virus, he's gonna do it because he's also gonna have it.
Very well. I will write the necessary paperwork to transfer him into your keep for the time being. This will be a temporary measure. You are to return him to serve out the rest of his sentence if possible, or to be, how should I say, turned to ashes if he's returning as a corpse. But in either case, he's in your care now, and you will do everything in your power to make sure he is secured, and that this is not a vacation for him, and that he is still a prisoner of the United States government.
Indeed he is.
And so Hugo kind of leads the rest of you out. Well, he takes you at first, Chauncey. There's like this brief transition point where the rest of you sort of wait out in the halls with the guard in a sort of secure area with the guards and the inmate, Dr. Downing, while Chauncey heads into a back room with the warden. And you see the paperwork established and your signatures essentially on both end for this essentially political exchange. And so the permission has been granted for you to take charge of this federal prisoner for now. Under the circumstances, that similar level of imprisonment security is taken for him. And so you are able, within the hour, to leave USP Harvardville with Dr. Frederick Downing following in suit, in shackles, basically. You know, his legs are sort of chained together, his hands in cuffs. You drag him along your helicopter. You're able to head where you may.
Yeah, all of our weapons are back at the helicopter, right?
Yeah.
Right, I'm getting my stuff back. Before we leave, well, no, I'll do this after we get to where we need to go.
All right. So you're charting the destination for
Mexico?
heading to Guadalajara straight from here.
I would say I am. As Chauncey is definitely heading down to Guadalajara with this gentleman.
So beforehand, Katara would bring in, she's like, if we're going to be heading down to Guadalajara after this, we should probably see if anybody else wants to tag along with us beforehand. I mean, whether it be, I don't know, Neria or that robot.
Or Kevin's still back at the base too.
Or Kevin, yeah.
Yeah, what am I, chopped liver?
Now you're cleaning toilets.
Whoever wants to mobilize from Camp Clancy, whenever I said send the troops, they would have been authorized to go or not to go. But as long as some troops were still behind to protect the camp.
And Quinn's already sending some stuff as too, so there'll be like a whole.
Yeah, so Chauncey, you're basically arranging a whole lot of transport, and this is actually something you're going to have to spend some time, perhaps during your flight on the Horn for, arranging. So you're basically arranging a lot of transport right now, like one transport to go back and forth, bringing scientific and chemical paraphernalia from Camp Clancy's R&D to the base in Guadalajara, and another transport to bring personnel from Camp Clancy to that same base camp. So, but yeah, you do have the power to do so with your new status. And so anyone who's still at Camp Clancy who would like to hitch a ride. Now, you said also, Chauncey, that you are looking to get some personnel transferred there. So what exactly is that going to look like? Is it just going to be player characters, or are you bringing some of Foxtrot team?
I would be bringing some of Foxtrot team to like contain the outbreak, to try to help contain the outbreak. We're not down here ready to fight a war. We're just here to help.
To supplement the
Mexico.
troops that are already there?
Yeah, to help Mexico fight the war. But Chauncey's plan is to bring Frederick down and make him make an antidote on spot. With knowing that in his knowledge, he knows the only way to get a sample of the G virus, even at the moment, would be to be down there. Unless further explain that there's another G somewhere else, but he also wants to use that as that's probably the best way to get somebody infected with G, and he's going to use the infection against Frederick to make him work faster and harder.
All right. So you're still leaving behind a bunch of Camp Clancy troops to keep watch over the place, which is probably very necessary given your lessened security there. Again, your CCTV's still down. It hasn't been long enough for any of the repairs to kick in. So the only eyes out that you have on the camp are physical eyes. So who all are you taking along then for the Guadalajara trip?
So, like I said, the offer would have been out there for anybody to go. Mm-hmm. Whoever wanted to. If some of Foxtrot felt they needed to stay behind and catch some rest, I allow it. If anybody is gung-ho and ready to go, I allow that as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's me.
So if you're looking to contribute, we will definitely take your assistance down there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking to contribute to helping rebuild and protect Camp Clancy, that is also necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also this thought process that Chauncey wants to go and protect people. There's other things that can be done in this time period that are up for other people to do. So just know that's Chauncey's plan. Is he's just going to take whoever wants to go is allowed to go. But if other people want to go somewhere else or do something else, by all means do that.
Mm-hmm. And putting in that, making that offer known, I'll say you do get in touch with you do get direct contact with some of your more trusted troops at Camp Clancy, namely PGP is quick to talk to you over the line, and he says, "Hey, listen, Captain, I suppose you're a little bit more than a captain now, but you're still captain to me. But the way I see it, our the way I see it, our troops are we've been running a little weary lately with these back-to-back battles. We can use the rest, but if you're calling us to arms in Guadalajara, I can guarantee you at least myself and maybe a few others will want to be there." So will our presence definitely be needed?
As far as it is for Camp Clancy, I'm willing, Foxtrot team, I'm willing to accept half of my team. Over half, they need to realize that the camp is still in shambles and needs protecting. So I allow half of the team to come, half of the team should stay.
Okay, understood, sir.
So real quick, with that being said, would Chauncey want Nadine to stay back because healing, or would she want her to go with?
Nadine, like, she is Foxtrot.
Because she's,
Again, it's still, like, take it from my perspective, when it's a Chauncey controlled team member, I will make those demands, but I won't demand somebody else's controlled team member. So if you want to send, wherever you want to send Nadine, that's fine. But I also think Nadine could be useful elsewhere. Not really at the camp or at Mexico.
Oh,
Yes. But Chauncey's eye's not on that prize. I'm hoping somebody else's is.
What's that?
Nevada would be really nice to like after. So, okay, quick understanding. We lost at the end of last episode when we lost all communications. We sat for like a half hour discussing what our plan should be.
Oh, really?
yeah.
I guess we didn't really relay that to you guys.
No, yeah.
Because we're still,
But
still like highly trying to figure it out, because it's like sending troops to Guadalajara or sending them over to Nevada, or like it was like a huge back and forth thing that we're like trying to figure out.
I really feel Nevada's a top priority, but Chauncey doesn't think Nevada would be a top priority. But I think everybody else that knows Chauncey would know that Nevada's a top priority for Chauncey. You know what I mean? Like one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So if individuals want to go there, they're welcome to. If they want to go to the other couple places that were also brought up in last episode, they're more than welcome to go to those.
Well, at this point, oh, what were you say?
I was gonna say, like, Mr. G infiltrating a secure facility. It's like his thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like as Chauncey on BSAA, that takes precedence. Where he's not really got his eyes on the prize of something that a Mr. G event would happen. So
Do you want me to infiltrate a secure facility?
I'm not saying that at all.
Okay, I mean, like, if
All right, see you guys. We're going
possible.
for the manifold.
Oh,
What's up?
oh no, I was like, if possible, I mean, like, Nevada could be a thing, so we get potential blueprints. I mean,
If not, at least destroy whatever might be up against us at a later time.
yeah.
Man, I can kill everybody at that facility.
Which one? The
If Mr.
Project
G
Ares
doesn't want to go
facility?
to Mexico.
Yeah, I was like, so if Mr. G, because I'm thinking, like,
Mr. G can head to Mexico, and John can go with you guys to. Or, I mean, Mr. G can go with you guys. Mr. G can go to Arizona. John can go with you guys to Mexico.
or Nevada.
Yeah, Nevada.
Hold on. Oh, I said Arizona. Yeah, one of those desert places.
We're going to Area 51, gentlemen.
yeah, no, I think that could work.
I would prefer Katara come to Mexico because of her scientific knowledge.
Oh yeah,
For the robot Miss X, Mr. G to go to Nevada.
Well, the thing is, Kevin's going to Mexico anyway, so he might be able to.
Kevin would be useful
Kevin?
in Mexico for his the ability to help set up this lab really quick as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as far as like Inyo and Nuria, like Inyo would probably be really good to help back up Mr. G. And Nuria maybe as well with the assistance of medical for medical scientist kind of stuff down in Mexico. But again, I only control Chauncey, so don't let me do
it's understandable. It's just like potential suggestions on depending on like who would want to do something.
So
it's
out of character. This is what I'm telling you guys. I think, but Chauncey not thinking this at all. All he's got his eyes on is Mexico.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you this now in regards to your troops. As PG pointed out, they're quite battered and weary at this point from the back-to-back battles and constantly being on the move the past couple of days. So, this is military chain of command stuff. So unless you like directly order them to be somewhere, they're not going to be volunteering for anything anytime soon. They are beat up and ready for some rest.
That's what I'm saying. Like the ones that are still wanting to fight, like that still have fight in them. Because this is Camp Clancy. we don't give up. But the ones that have the most fight left in them are coming. The ones that don't have quite as much fight are staying.
Yeah.
Wait
So
a minute,
basically,
When,
PGP,
when things change, yeah.
PGP, and Allie, will be there in Mexico if you need them. But that's about it.
Wait a minute. I see now, out of character here in the Discord, I see that Katara has 5 G virus samples?
Oh yeah,
Chauncey don't know that, I don't think.
you took them.
Wait, I have them?
Yeah. When they were raiding the place, she said, "I need you to take these. There are these things here." And then you were able to go in and grab like the necessary stuff, so that way they weren't confiscated, because that's how they don't know anything about her having that stuff.
Do I remember that I have these?
Because that's another thing. Katara would have brought up on the flight, or like when they're on the flight back, would have been like, so if we're going back to the camp, I have a pure G virus sample that I could give him.
Well, just have that sent with the lab equipment.
I think it might be safer actually at the lab.
At the lab?
Yeah.
Or down in Mexico lab?
Not the lab. If
This
you've already
just
got an
changes
example there, at
everything.
least.
This just
changes everything. Yeah, because that's why I smiled about it,
Yeah.
and that I was waiting for when we were going to be on our way back,
Well,
because I didn't think we were going to Guadalajara right away.
Well, here's the discourse.
here's
Here's the deal. Is Downing hearing all this discourse along with you guys in this helicopter? Or is this not
Depends
being spoken aloud?
Because like this is technically information the characters would have, right? So
Mhm.
would it just be like,
Okay.
because obviously you would have known where the
Yeah.
viruses were.
But it's just about
Yeah.
how much of this is being communicated in character is my point here.
Yeah,
So-
'cause
This could be very different depending on whether or not Downing is hearing everything you guys are discussing
You know-
right now.
how about
I
this?
remember?
I think we're just arguing. I think we're just arguing whether or not it happens in Mexico or happens on site.
Yeah.
Because we all know where we have
Yeah,
viruses. I think
that
we're
was gonna
arguing whether it's Mexico or site.
I was going to say, how about this? Katara looking at Chauncey just would have been like, hey, so necessarily, I know you want to bring that one down to Guadalajara, but I remember, well, at least remember, I still have samples. G-virus samples. We don't need to bring him down there unless you want him to be in danger. We could already have these things set up back at the lab.
If you want him to be in danger, you just say the word.
Wait, are we in a helicopter right now? Like,
Yeah, you guys are in a helicopter right now.
so
being transported to
is
wherever
Mr. G,
you've designated.
Is Mr. G the pilot?
No, whatever BSAA standard issue pilot you got that to transport you down to the prison is still piloting. So
Okay, but it's just like one other guy besides Frederick and the group
exactly, yeah.
currently in the helicopter. Okay.
Just the three of you plus Frederick plus the pilot.
I call PGP back. Call PGP.
Yes, sir.
And I tell him, make sure that all logs show that we are shipping lab equipment down to Mexico, that we are doing everything we can to bring everything to Mexico. But don't send anything.
Whoa, okay. So all right, I'll pass that on to Quint.
You and one other person are the only people that need to know that nothing's actually going. I want records to show that helicopters are leaving with this stuff in transport, but not actually leaving with anything in transport. We need everything on deck, but we need to make sure that nobody knows that we aren't going to Mexico as well. We want everybody to think that we're going to Mexico.
Understood,
with
sir.
this individual with all the stuff that we would need to do it in Mexico.
So we're not sending anything to Mexico.
I'd still like to send some troops down to Mexico. I feel bad.
So you still,
No.
So you still want me, a couple of us
helping.
so you still want a couple of us to take that transport down to Mexico?
No. No, I don't.
I'm very
I'm so
confused, sir.
triggered. I'm very confused too. Okay, so make it look like we're going to Mexico. I will be in contact with the command down in Mexico. Just make it look like we're all going to Mexico. That the base will still be protected, but that if any prized possessions are heading to Mexico, I want it to be thought that they are.
But no one is
Understanding what I
actually
tell you.
going down to Mexico.
Nobody's actually going down to Mexico today.
Okay.
Do you understand? I barely do, but I think I got it.
I think so, Captain. So basically, nothing's happening, except it looks like everything's happening.
Exactly. I want chaos. I want chaos over the airwaves. So either people just are just like whatever is going on over there, I want nothing to do with, or they're gonna just bite the hook and go with it, and think that we're going everywhere. You kind of understand what I'm saying? I hope so. Click.
Oh gosh.
This is a Mr. G mission. Mr. G should have been the one writing all these details down.
You didn't ask me to.
I know. This isn't Chauncey's strong suit.
It's okay. You're doing good, sir.
All right, good. All right.
So, that being said, what is the actual plan here?
Okay, so my plan is
So now Kevin and all of Ilo's characters as well are still at Camp Clancy currently, and will not be leaving Camp Clancy for this day.
they're still allowed to leave to go do Nevada if they want, because again, Chauncey's main goal is to help out with Mexico.
Right.
Not
Well,
thinking
Kevin
that
said
there
he
was
wanted to be in
G-viruses
Mexico
there.
as well.
If he wants to go there, he can. Ain't nobody gonna stop him.
Well,
Well, like-
if no one is going there, then what's the point?
Well, like I said, it's all, nothing's gonna happen if you don't give the order for transportation to be made, right? So,
Yeah. Transportation orders are being made, but no actual transports are happening.
So why are we not
So-
actually sending troops? I understand
Because they're tired. I want the enemy to think we're sending tired troops to Mexico.
Oh, so this is like a scare
It's a
tactic.
coin. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
black flag.
Okay.
But like, we're still just not
It's a
doing
coup.
anything yet.
It's
So
definitely
you're-
a coup.
So you're saying your plan? Let me get this right. So today is a rest day. All shipping
Today.
logs are going to point to us shipping and heading and fighting today, but you ship
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, relay those orders.
Relayed.
I'm like saying it's just like whatever we've got.
Just let everybody know to rest easy tonight, but we're
Ship tomorrow.
we are probably going to ship tomorrow if we don't have a antidote in hand.
Dr. Downing is just there with his headphones over his ears, listening in on all this chatter and just also very confused. He's just like, so does this mean that I'm free?
Yeah, very pretty much.
Okay, that's the way I understood it.
This means that you're valuable. Make sure you fucking pay up, or you're not very valuable.
I will try to be nothing but serviceable.
And my deal to you is now you don't have to worry about getting infected with the G virus. But the faster you work, the harder you work, and the the better the result of your work, the more likely you are to persuade me to taking it easier on you.
Sounds all well to me. So I won't be going to Mexico then.
You don't know that.
Something neither do you.
That seems to be what you were saying. You just said I don't need to go to Mexico.
At this current moment in time, but if I feel the need to, I'm gonna ship your ass express
Understood,
to Mexico.
sir.
Priority.
Yeah, priority overnight expressed.
I have a few opinions about mail right now, but I'll,
When do we get there? When do we get there? Yeah, you're a lucky man, Downing. You got a 1 day's rest.
Ah, very good.
Get a
Very
comfy
good.
bed.
I may still need some remote access to the activities in Mexico, though, if this is to be done right. Perhaps transmission of some sort of camera feed that you can take along to make sure that we're getting proper enough sample.
We can arrange that, yeah. Body cams.
Be easy enough, given your resources.
BSA body cams.
BSA body cams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't go
BSA
around
body-
beating innocent civilians while you're there.
I'm not wearing a body cam, though.
My body cam's covered with armor, so we're good.
It's like there's like there is camera feed, but there's 2 big packs of ammunition blocking it.
My body cam is like blacked out, but you hear all the drama that is going on. We don't want to see the blood and gore that this guy does.
It's all just like
Stop
fabric
resisting.
and, like, gun rounds just clanking together. All right, so we're heading back to Clancy for now.
So everybody's heading back to Camp Clancy is what I'm gathering, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Lucky boy.
Yeah, that's what we ended up doing.
Okay, so you guys have, within a few hours, land back at Camp Clancy. So by this point, it's well into night. And you are able to disembark and head back into the facilities. Dr. Downing, upon disembarking, just takes a look around. He's just like, oh, quite a number has been done to this place.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad. Let me escort you to your establishment.
Oh, very well. You sort of lead him into the... Yeah, where are you guys going to be keeping him for the
So
night?
I'm assuming we're just gonna dump him in R&D, right?
Are you going to put him in like one of the prison cells there, or in the bunks there?
Oh shit, there are prison cells down there, right?
That's where
Yep.
that's where you guys found
Yeah.
that doctor that was trying to get away from the Felicianos, as well as some other guy that I
That
think
one
you
dude who
just iced.
apparently I knew. I
Yeah,
think his name was Joey.
yeah. There was some random thug down there. Wait, no, yeah, you guys straight iced him when you found out he was infected.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk him down there.
Okay, so you lead him down there, throw him in
Big-
one of those
obviously
cells.
very close. I've got an arm around him or whatever.
Mhm.
Who's all down at the at R&D right now?
Well, Quint's down there, and Katara's parents are also down there.
Do they have any healing properties? Capabilities, I should say.
Not to your knowledge, no.
They're not surgeons.
Nah.
I know how to patch somebody up decently alright, right?
Yeah.
Like if I were
Basic
to
field.
like if I were to come across like, you know, yeah, like field like dress a wound and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I'm taking him down into to R&D. Basically just gonna like show him to his cell.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna like, all right, this is where you'll be sleeping for the night.
Can't say it's much of an improvement over my last cell, but very well.
Yeah, I mean, you get what you get what you get. But face the wall, get on your knees, and put your hands on your head.
I'm sorry?
Face the wall, put your hands on your head, get on your knees.
And he follows suit.
He's gonna feel the cold steel of a katana blade on his shoulder.
I don't understand. I'm following everything that I've been told. Of course, you would not...
Yep. So here's what's gonna happen. Oh, I miss Guantanamo days. You're gonna do everything that Camp Clancy asks you to, specifically Chauncey. That is correct.
Don't leave that up to me. I'm confused myself. Leave it to Katara.
Yeah.
And specifically Katara, who is the head of R&D.
Yes, of course.
And you will not make any attempts to try to steal your freedom. That is correct.
Absolutely.
Good. Do I believe him?
Insight check.
Insight. Oh, wow. 24.
Was a 24. Wow. I mean, you get the sense that he's a pretty good liar.
I figured.
Yeah, he naturally. But he seems, at least in this present moment, to be fairly genuine, if only by the sheer shock factor. It's hard to tell if that's a lasting truth or just something he believes right now. But you do get the sense that he does have quite a strong desire to be free of his bonds, but it doesn't seem like he's in any rush to risk himself doing so.
Yeah. He wants to, but he's like, it's not safe yet.
No, yeah, you get the sense that he's willing to play the long game with that.
Yeah. You know what? I believe you, Mr. Downing. I really do. I believe that you're not going to try to steal your freedom away from us. Do you know why I believe that?
And why is that?
Because there's nowhere that I'm not going to be able to find you. I'm going to cut his Achilles tendons.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Alright. Oswald, or not Oswald, Katara's parents' names are...
They are Oswalds.
Alicia and David.
Oh, Oswald, yeah.
Oswald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oswald. We got a bleeder.
Ah! Oh! Ah!
He's just going to walk away, clean his blade.
Is that, I was gonna say, can I have like Katara get on the Bluetooth? Because I don't know if like everybody's like separated all over, but like I wanted to get on the Bluetooth and just be like, you know, I actually had an idea. Considering Frederick,
Yeah, what's up?
so that robot
Mm.
can it watch people?
Indefinitely, I'm pretty sure.
Should see if it would like to take guard duty potentially.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's see if I can find her. Well, is she following me since I got back to the
That's a good question. And yo?
Oh, she left.
Oh, no.
And immediately offline.
We'll just use a forklift, move her turned off robot into position.
Just like pick her up and move her over. She's in hibernation mode. Isla?
Hello?
You're glowing, but you know, I can't hear you.
Yeah, you're glowing, but like we can't hear. Oh,
She's gone again.
Oh,
Now she's back.
no, still nothing.
Hello?
Oh, there you are.
Ah,
She is most definitely following Mr. G.
Okay. So it takes a little... so you don't recognize that he has arrived quite immediately. So it's after the Achilles tendon and everything has been cut, that you manage to locate him down in the R&D labs, and you come barreling down the halls after the Oswalds kind of go off in the other direction, just like, ah, dang it, you're making another mess again.
The Oswald say that.
that's the father, David Oswald.
I'm sorry about that. I would have given you a warning.
Yeah, we need this one locked up.
Indefinitely.
Right,
Ignore those
patch
pitiful
'em up.
screams. They'll stop eventually.
Ah!
Poor dude.
Yeah, I kind of feel sorry for him.
I don't.
Hey, it gets him to understand the gravity of the situation.
He doesn't know who he was messing with. Now he does.
I think he knew who he was messing with when you guys stepped foot inside his cell. Just, yeah, that was some police brutality. So,
Oh, he got lucky. I had a whole plan for this dude, but I decided to change my mind. I didn't want to kill him.
Qatar, just good thing I'm a professor, not a police officer.
I technically don't exist.
so what's the arrangements you're making here?
So, you wanted to get Enyo to watch?
Yeah,
Because
see,
we wanted to take her on the Arizona mission, right? Or Nevada?
that's
Which one was it?
Nevada.
It was Nevada.
Nevada, okay.
Yeah. Well, true. 'Cause I guess it's overnight just to see if,
Okay. Yeah, just to add a little insult to injury.
like, tis where that would be up to Isla though.
Sure. Enyo could take up guard duty.
All right, it's gonna be like, all right, Enyo, we want to make sure this guy does not leave.
Understood.
Like in front of the cell, it's just like, and if he tries, you can go ahead and kill him.
Understood.
Oh, I won't be trying. Oh, what is that thing?
My name is Enyo, an android designed by Elliot Walker.
Ah!
This dude's life just became a hell.
What's this? Oh no. Thought I was redeeming myself.
He's like, just like Mr. G's like, you gotta understand, they're the good guys. We're not. Just like when he says that they're the good guys, his emotions like top side. Just, everyone up there, they're the good guys.
All right, so Enyo, you keep watch, and of course you've got that sort of long rest sentry mode where you're basically conscious all night and still getting the benefits of a long rest, although in a low power mode. So, meanwhile,
Steve's not going anywhere.
watch him like a hawk,
Like a robot hawk.
Robo Hawk, the great unfinished '90s movie. So, meanwhile, what are the rest of you doing? Is everybody just settling in for a long rest then?
I guess pretty much.
Chauncey's making a phone call to Mexico.
All right, so you're putting in a call, reestablishing contact with
Here's what's happening.
the BSAA sort of group that's hunkered down in Guadalajara. You get in touch with, once again, Parker Luciani, who answers and is just like, Clancy, what news do you have?
Let me reel you into this situation we have going on here. So I have a gentleman that has the ability to work on an antidote, and I feel the antidote is the safest bet, safest measure. But I do also know that there's a lot of eyes on us here at Camp Clancy, and I feel that if I didn't send you assistance, I would look really bad in the eyes of the BSAA. But if I did send you all my assistance, I wouldn't have anything to protect this individual, to protect lives in the later date for this antidote. I initially wanted to bring him to Mexico, but I've decided against that, being that we have the right proper tools here for him to do his job a lot faster. I do understand that you guys are in a pickle down there, but I need you to just understand that what I'm going to do to the best of my abilities, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that we get us an antidote, one that can be replicated for future uses, as well as tending to you guys down there. I don't want to leave you empty-handed, but at this moment in time, I have to take a step back and protect this venture first.
Convoluted though that may have been, I think I understand. So we will not be receiving reinforcements then?
Not today. But if things don't go according to plan, we will expedite ourselves straight to you.
Understood.
With haste. I also want to alert you that there will be a lot of manifested helicopters and things heading your way, but only to mask the eyes that we don't want, seeing that we're here and thinking that we're on our way down there.
I trust that to make some sort of political sense. It seems to have taken to your new role quite well. But
Try.
Well, if you can get that vaccine, or that antidote created, that would be the greatest boon that could turn the tide of this battle.
Just know that you guys will be of top concern going forward. If you feel that it is impossible to continue, I will send you extraction, and we will do the cleansing that we need to do. But if you can hold out, you do the best that you can, and you keep me informed as we proceed forward.
Understood. Our camp has been quite well fortified, so we should be able to last a bit longer. But I'll give you updates as we progress.
Thank you. That is all.
Understood. We'll see you on the out.
Click. Click.
Alright. And Chauncey, as you hang up on that conversation in the war terminal, and the sort of holographic table in front of you illuminating much of the room around you, and what lights are still functioning around the area. You see the kind of moonlight shining in through nearby windows / holes in the wall, which repairs are being have been sort of gradually worked on, and there's some scaffolding and whatnot set up for the ongoing repairs. So it's not as, it basically looks a lot like a construction site now rather than a bulldozed battleground. But you see Allie sort of waiting for you by the door to the chamber. Sort of leaning against the wall with her arms crossed. Just like, Chauncey?
Can I help you?
I'm just looking to touch base with you again. See what our next plan of action is.
Kind of sitting ducks.
That sounds that way. Listen, there's something that's been on my mind, and quite frankly, a lot of the squad's minds. I don't think anybody's quite worked up the gusto to talk to you about.
What's that?
That's that darn manifold android that's been walking around. Been around saying that it was made by Walker. I think I need to tell you that everyone here isn't exactly feeling quite comfortable around that. Quite frankly, I don't trust that thing one bit. You're just gonna keep it just walking around like it's one of us?
I thought you, of all people, would understand. Not all made the same. Not all made out the way that we were supposed to be. Look at you, for instance. Aren't you considerably something that, Walker created?
Not necessarily.
I'm pretty damn close, though.
It's still. You know you can trust me. I earned my place here. That thing? We don't know what it is. We don't know what it's capable of. We don't even know if it's on our side, really.
I'm not trying to defend it, but I thought for sure you'd understand in the fact of, like, when I found out that you were infected in its rightful sense, that I gave you the benefit of the doubt. You've covered your ass. You've proven that you aren't out of control. Tar's done the same. Many others have done it. But currently, this robot has done nothing wrong to prove otherwise. But if it is of your concern, by all means, go keep an eye on it. You want me to keep an eye on it, I'll do it. I only have one, but I'll use it for that. But trust me, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. If everybody else is willing to work with it that I can trust, I thought maybe you'd trust my judgment on this one.
Yeah, well. I trust your judgment on most things, Captain. Quite frankly, I think you're turning quite a big blind eye here. And so, for all of our sakes, I'll be keeping an eye out.
Please report back to me then. Mr. G already gone?
Was over in R&D department last we saw.
Okay. I have like camera feeds and stuff right at my war table.
Yeah. Well, right now actually CCTV systems are down, so you wouldn't be able to.
Shit.
You wouldn't be able to see that. But you still got intercom.
Yeah.
Which has been your new way of finding people.
I'll just call it because I need to come to him, not him come to me.
All right.
So I'll call him, see where he's at.
All right, Mr.
Bring, bring. I think he's muted.
Oh, I think he's muted too.
He's fishing through his pockets, pulling out like 3 or 4 different phones, and he's like, what's up?
Where are you located?
Currently heading out of R&D.
Have you seen your friendly robot?
I have, actually. She's right here.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel you trust that robot with your life?
Hey, Enyo. Enyo?
Enyo?
Oh God, we're ruined!
Yes. Yes, Mr. G.
Should I trust my life in your hands?
Trust your life in anyone's hands except your own.
I like this robot. We're keeping it. That's the only correct answer as far as I'm concerned.
I need you to do me a favor.
What's up?
I need you to tell your robot to put on a body cam of some sort that I have at all times. A way of seeing what she sees.
All right. Hey, Enyo.
Also,
Yes, Mr. G.
do you have a method of recording everything that you see?
live display.
Does she have a method of recording everything she sees?
I'll say make a technology check.
She does now. That'd be pretty cool.
Really just now realized I haven't had any sheets open.
Uh-oh.
It took until after I made my intimidation roll to realize I didn't have one open either, so it's okay.
I think a technology. I think it was. So no, I think it was just like a straight 0. So it is a straight 0. Made a technology, but she doesn't know anything about technology.
What? How's that work?
Makes sense.
She's not C3PO. She's R2D2.
I mean, like that makes as much sense as just like biological organisms not having medicine.
Ooh.
Oh,
So, that 16, you would know that the optical technology used for your eyes is basically, by virtue of the fact that it's digital in nature, you would assume there's such a way, but there's nothing innately programmed into you for that, or at least not that you're aware of. So you get the sense with a little bit of engineering, you could probably easily make that feed transmittable.
It seems I am able to record my surroundings.
all right. Yeah, Chauncey, I think we could do something about that.
How long would you like me to record for?
Do I overhear this over the phone?
Probably.
Always. Always and forever record everything you do.
We're looking at 24/7 if you can.
Understood.
All right.
Recording engaged.
Yeah, so you could do a sort of local recording. You wouldn't be able to broadcast it without doing some engineering first. Someone would have to dig around in you.
Yeah.
Would she allow people to dig around in there?
Hey, Enyo.
Yes, Mr. G?
All right. Do you mind if we have somebody look at you and see if we can find a way to live feed what you see to a location?
server? Yeah.
As long as they don't damage anything.
I'm sure they won't.
I'm not so sure. Look at these guys we have dealing with us. It took like hours to decrypt the hard
If they
drive.
damage anything, it will be on them.
It will, won't it?
If
I'm
you
guessing
click,
this is where I step up.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh yeah, we do.
Call
We
up
do.
Cat Boy.
Kevin, I thought he was going to Mexico. What happened?
dialing up Kevin.
it's a Quint, but I don't
He's
think
the
anyone
only
wants
one
to
in
be
a
left.
fleet of 12 helicopters headed down.
There's 12, yeah, there's like 12 helicopters are all empty except Kevin's in one of them.
Let's go,
There's also-
guys.
No.
There's also Quint, but I don't know if Enyo wants to be left alone with Quint.
I feel like somewhere, like at some point in confidence, Enyo is just like, I don't like Quint.
That guy is creepy. Will kill next time he touches me.
I will blow his head off if he gets too close.
Understood.
I'll make sure not to tell him that.
But no, so it's not top priority to get her live feeding it, but as long as she's recording it, we're good. We'll discuss live feeding later, but I do also need you to do me another favor.
What's up?
Do you mind finding a way to keep tabs on some of my troops
keep tabs how?
Whether you were there to see them in action or a way to track their actions be of use.
For the purpose of what?
Okay, so the main
There's
reason
a couple
I'm calling
different
you-
ways you can do it.
The main reason I'm calling is I had a trusted member of my squad come in and tell me that everybody in my squad does not trust your friendly robot.
Okay.
It is running around saying that it is built by Walker. A lot of people
This is
here don't really like that. Did make me raise an eyebrow to the idea of what if it is still controlled, tracked, or any other way, shape, or form by Walker.
Did we already give her a once-over?
Yeah, I mean, like, we didn't understand what the hell we were looking at.
Was that the result of it? We couldn't really get much?
Yeah, basically. As far as you can't really understand too much depth of what's going, what her particular thought process might be, but...
Well, as far as that document that we got has said, this robot is a big liability to the Manifold, as it is going to be an asset to us.
It's an asset to us, but is it also a punishment?
In what way?
What? Getting all the information and intel it needs without knowing that it's getting it. It's walking around my facility that's in ruin, protecting people, and used as a bodyguard on one of the most high-profile characters we have at our current camp. And we're literally letting it do it.
And you. And you?
Now she's gone rogue for real. Get her!
Stick
in
it
the
behind.
rocket launcher's out.
Oh no.
Stipend.
Hold on, typing.
Oh, there's a weenie barking.
Oh, we don't care. I got kids. Let's go.
Yeah,
My
putting up
immersion.
with your kids barking.
My immersion.
Mr. G is just gonna be like.
Okay, what was that?
So Mr. G is gonna be like, all right. And you, I have a bit of a question.
Yes, Mr. G?
This is a bit deep, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to get into the real nitty gritty of this topic currently, but you're sentient, right?
Define sentient.
That's what I mean.
And I think for myself, yeah.
And you have, I'm assuming that you have some sense of self-preservation.
Yeah.
Do you have any sense of... You can feel emotions, I'm assuming.
Somewhat.
Do you have any sense of loyalty? Huh?
I cannot give an answer to that.
To emotions?
To loyalty.
Well,
I am a product of the Manifold.
this is true. But do you have any...
If I were to meet someone from the Manifold, would the loyal thing be to follow them as they made me?
Take her around back.
The Manifold.
Take her around back, old Yeller style.
Alright, we gotta put you down. No.
However, I have also grown a fondness for the BSAA.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. My question is, you're gonna have to make a decision. That's not a question. You're gonna have to make a decision at some point about who you're loyal to. And the manifold will try to get into your head. The manifold doesn't consider you a person. They consider you an object, a weapon.
I believe you also consider that.
What was that?
She ain't wrong.
I believe you also consider me that.
I consider everybody by their usefulness or not. What I'm trying to tell you is, Chauncey's gonna have me kill you if you don't answer this correctly. I have no care of who you're loyal to, as long as you're gonna help me in the long run. But the manifold will someday, or we will meet somebody from the manifold, and you're probably gonna meet the guy who created you. And you're gonna have to make a choice. You understand that, right?
I do.
The manifold are going to try to use you to get any kind of leverage over the camp that they can. And it's just not going to be a good time for anybody. So what I'm saying is, you can either make up your mind now, or wait for somebody to make your mind for you.
We offer benefits.
It's got great medical.
If not, we have great
Isn't
technical.
Isn't that right, Downing?
Got a chillax scientist in the background.
As long as I remain in control of my own mental process, I will be with BBSAA.
All right. I have another question for you.
Yes, Mr. G?
If we come into contact with Elliot Walker, the man who created you, your maker, head of the manifold, which was your previous, I guess the people who made you.
I know who he is.
If he is able to take control of you forcibly, and I'm only saying that because he's probably able to, your loyalties are gonna. Your loyalties won't have. You won't have any choice over who you're loyal. My question is, if that comes to happen, what are you going to do?
Well, at that point, I won't have a choice.
You might have a choice.
If he has taken control of me, then I won't have a choice.
If you feel like he is about to take control over, everybody has a choice whether or not they will allow that to happen. What I'm trying to say is you have a power core inside of you that is of great power.
You are correct.
Would you be willing to, for the sake of your freedom and your free will, would you overload that power core to prevent the manifold from taking over your mind?
That would most likely result in me shutting down.
Permanently.
It is a difficult question to answer.
It is a very difficult question to answer. See, I was trained from a young age by the CIA. We were taught. We had all of our emotions stripped from us. And we were taught the only thing that mattered is to get the mission done. Most of us have a cyanide capsule in our back molar. And he opens his mouth and just like points in his mouth. If we ever get caught by somebody who we don't think we can escape from, every single one of us is absolutely willing to end our life to make sure that whatever information we have does not fall into the hands of the enemy. Are you willing to make that same kind of sacrifice? You don't have to answer me now.
It's just silent for a moment. I do not need to answer right now.
I'll let you think about it. I'm nice like that.
Very nice. I will get back to you by tomorrow.
All right. Thank you very much for that conversation.
You are welcome.
Chauncey, wake up.
Yeah,
I'm awake. What happened?
So I'm presuming it's only been relayed just Chauncey, Mr. G, and Enya, right?
As far as I know, that's the only ones who are on the phone.
Yeah.
I guess Downing would be there. Katara's
He's.
would,
I don't know how much he's listening right now, but he's just oh.
Oswald is there. I forgot his first name.
David Oswald.
Oh, apparently, let me see. Yeah, well, Katara's dad. Yeah. Now, well, I guess any of them could be there. We're all still in R&D right now.
That's true. Yeah. So I guess whoever's around. If you hadn't already.
Well, here's my thing, right? Like, because Katara was asking, like, if there was something we'd be able to do. Like, if she shuts down, we'd be able to bring her back. My only problem is that if we have some way to bring her back, like, the Manifold might be able to resuscitate her. They probably know more about it than we do. They know more about her than we do. They built her.
Well, see, that's
I'm thinking big boomy.
that's the thing. Like, I was sitting around thinking, and this is just like something Katara would think about, and this is like an end game, like probably it wouldn't happen in the series, right?
No,
but it would be like an end game, like if something were to happen to Enyo, maybe as like a post game thing years later, is rebuilt for the BSAA.
Like instead of a Manifold body, a BSAA body?
Yeah, so like because the idea would be could either go with Mr. G post game and be like that side like character like with Mr. G afterwards, or like could be a part of the BSAA helping afterwards, or like being a guard or something like that.
Like download her consciousness or something?
Yeah, and then making an actual like frame and body to like put her in, like learning more about her and then being able to create it, because Katara would go through and put money into that. Because that is some cool stuff.
But none of that conversation is able to transpire right now.
That'll be in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you go your separate ways after that conversation?
Well, is there anything else Chauncey needs to ask G? G will, I mean, obviously, G will say, we'll get an answer to back to you if she's getting about what all
I
happened.
trust your judgment on this, Mr. G. I do. It's just I also have to give judgment where it's due. My people are asking me to give judgment on Inyo.
We could set some temporary measures in place, but as far as I can tell, ain't nothing's gonna get past that prejudice.
I get that. Just, I wish they would understand, but once said to the people that I trust that also have this issue, it's just becoming apparent to me that maybe we should think about other ways to contain her outside of the walls.
I can always I mean, if you just slap some armor on her or something.
Or at least put her in less beneficial areas of our compound at all times, you know? Like, maybe, you know what? Starting tomorrow, I want her to join in with troop training.
You said less beneficial.
No, with actual troop training, because then that gets her around with the troops. So the troops will start to earn her respect.
All right, I see what you mean.
She'll be able to gain respect from them.
Yeah, I can run her through some personality readjustment training as well.
Also, I kind of heard as I was falling asleep at my desk.
I heard you
that she never met a manifold.
No, we found her in a box on a manifold. Well, it was on a Navy ship controlled by the manifold.
I seem to remember somebody back in the day being able to disguise themselves as somebody else, right?
Who?
At least they were able to cover up their tattoos good enough, right?
Not following.
You trick her into believing you're manifold. She won't know any different.
And what? See,
or have one of your guys have her believe that they are manifold.
And see how she reacts.
See where her truths really lie.
I can do something about it. I'll work on getting her personality readjustment training done as well. First.
Yeah. It's top priority. But let's worry about making sure this gentleman does his part of the bargain to save lives.
Oh, he will. Isn't that right, Downing?
Yes, of course. You just kind of hear it in the background.
He'll play ball. On a wheelchair, but he will.
Sounds good.
All right, is there anything else you need?
I don't think so.
All right, I'll see you in the morning.
See ya. Look.
All right.
Who the hell else am I going to call tonight? Let's go.
John C's phone call night.
Can I go ahead and call Mr. Walker and tell her everything? Mr. Walker and tell him everything's going according to plan. They don't even know.
You don't even know. I'm outside your base right now. Look, go ahead. Look outside that window. I see you. Wave.
The robot's in place. They don't even realize that the old robot's been here the whole time.
All right.
Finishing up, as I start to get to my sleepy stage, I just do like a normal routine of flicking through files on the ward table and seeing if everything's still going according to plan, if anything's popping up, and also I kind of want to check to see if there's any retroactive transmissions in accordance to the fleet of helicopters that are heading to Mexico. If there's any like emergency jets taking off, things like that.
Nothing of the sort, since you had it pretty well cleared. It seemed like pretty expected activity, so there's no real flags or anything being alarmed.
But I mean, there's no like random helicopters flying from the northeast.
No, nothing of the sort.
That have a Mexico bearing. Guadalajara, for instance.
No, because you just set them up to show that way on the paperwork. You didn't actually call in any birds, right?
Exactly. There's no actual birds, but
yeah,
everybody but me, but Camp Clancy currently and Guadalajara know that no helicopters are actually going anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So there are no actual birds that are en route there.
Yeah. There's no actual birds in the area. Yeah. Just a decoy.
Hmm. Okay. So if that's all you check in on, you finish up your nightly reading, making sure you're all up to date on the latest intel and information. And as you wind that down, you retreat to your quarters on the second floor. Your troops, as they have since the CCTVs were damaged, sort of take shifts, standing guard on the rooftop, keeping eyes out. But for the most part, the camp slows to crawl for the night. Everybody finds their way for long rests. You doing anything before you go to bed?
I just have a couple of transmissions to send.
Right.
Just so that I've said them out loud.
Uh-huh.
Because these are all been on the back burner for a while. Double checking on like I said before, so I'm doubling up after reading Chauncey's report on all the personal attacks on Walker online through my bot network, and checking up on those bugs that I set up in official ranks in office in the government to see if there's any untoward activity.
Okay.
Potentially Sphinx activity.
I'll say make an investigation check. See what intel you can gather just from monitoring.
Well, because this was after reactionary after we found out that some official channels may have been. What was it? I think it was like an official command was sent somewhere that.
Yeah, that was for the bombing run on Emil's house, is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, and then after that, I've been monitoring all the channels to make sure that.
Yeah, so you have those bugs in place. You just need to make a check to see what you glean from. All right, 21. So
skillful.
You monitor those bugs and look for aberrations or any sort of errancies that might betray any sort of solid lead on Sphinx-like activity.
Anything that's just not anything that I can cross-reference that I'm like, here's an order that was sent that nobody seems to have sent.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting. What you find essentially is nothing that's I suppose suspicious. Wherever there are orders being sent, it's always coming from a sort of discernible place.
Mm-hmm.
But just sort of monitoring the airwaves, there do oftentimes seem to be instances as these activities are going on of such orders making their way across the airwaves of things that come through legitimate channels, but may not necessarily be of any sort of follow any sort of reason for your attack strategy, or are not beneficial except to the manifold. So every once in a while, there's little stuff here and there.
Little pings.
Little troop movements and whatnot, relocations that you're not entirely sure the reasoning behind. Just seems like there's a lot of little, maybe not a lot of little, but every once in a while, little micro adjustments.
Is it the kind of thing where it's like right before Camp Clancy got hit, there was like a troop migration away from that area or something?
Essentially, yeah. Yeah, little things like that, and sort of sparsely done. But little things like that come through.
Mm. The kind of thing where it's like, all right, we got a training routine. Like grab all your troops and just like march them off south, and then the north gets attacked. It's like, oh wow, during a training routine, who would have thought?
Basically, yeah, just little coincidences like that here and there, and they all come through legitimate channels, and they all have the proper encoding. And the proper code words and designations and everything to make... Like, there was no reason for anyone to believe that these were not orders from above.
And can I track who... Like, whose certificates are being used?
It's different certificates every time.
Yeah.
It does not seem like there's any sort of pattern to it.
Well, I want to see whose are being used, and I want to make a database of all the people who have, I guess, leaked certificates, or do I think it's everybody?
It doesn't seem like, there's anybody who's off limits by your estimation. There are people from all levels of office, people in, state government, federal government, people in BSAA, people in just all sorts of positions, giving all sorts of orders. It doesn't seem like there's anybody that's off limits as far as you can tell.
There's no like, I guess, consistency between orders being sent. It's just for whatever needs to get done at that moment.
Essentially.
So I know that Sphinx is messing about, but I have no way to track that kind of activity yet.
It does not seem to be the case. If there is, then you can't think of it. It seems like, well, there's a reason he has his sort of mythic reputation. It is an airtight hacking job.
All right. I'm going to keep that active, and I'm going to try to... Is there a way to set that up to have, like, now that I've seen a couple of, like, stuff in retrospect, to find those kind of patterns and have them, like, if anything matches that kind of activity, to, like, beat me or something? That way we don't get blindsided by a sudden troop migration. It's like, oh, man, we need troops for this fight. Wonder where they went.
Okay, yeah, I'll say with that check, you could sort of... Because the thing is, again, there's very little distinguishment you can make from a legitimate order, and an orchestrated one, except that you notice it can be noticed after the fact that the timing coincided with something else. So you'd have to monitor essentially all orders coming through the entire nation if you were to make an attempt at that.
Yeah. So it's indiscernible between the fishy orders. On the surface, it's indistinguishable between fishy and legitimate orders.
All
right.
I suppose you could keep an eye out for, like, within a certain area or something if you would like to.
I guess, yeah. For areas that we're going to.
Okay.
Like, if we're going to be in an area, it's just like, if there are being sent down here and the troops are going the wrong direction.
Okay.
Or if they're like being sent orders to, like, bunker down or something, it's just gonna be like, all right, guys, we're gonna be short backup for a little bit. Just be on your toes.
All right, so yeah, I'll say because you have those bugs operational, you've done a good job of analyzing the data. Just bring that up in any given instant, and you can track the activity.
Like, if we're gonna, like, I guess if we're gonna head out to
a war zone. Just make sure that if we need backup, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
And also, I need to get on the horn with my Scorpion crew. Though I guess currently, right now, they're probably in Johannesburg.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that. Wait, no, I'm sending them off to.
You're sending them to scout the Manifold Tower.
Yeah, I'm sending them off to the Manifold Tower actually. So this order doesn't work anymore. Yeah, so they're gonna. I'm sending them off to the Manifold Tower. I'm telling them this is just a cold, like, purely reconnaissance job. If you have to do something to get intel that would potentially allow them to see you, do not do it. This is, completely like shadow operations. You were never there, you are not there, and you do not exist. Only get the amount of information you can from very far. Knowing what the facility looks like is already more intel than what we have now. That's what the level of stuff we're getting at. Do not get too close. Do not let them see you. I'm sending that message out to my Scorpion crew.
And you do receive a communication back that just basically says, "Sounds good, Chief. Do we have anything more precise than that general region of Baffin Bay, or?"
I wish I did.
So we're going to have to find this place too. It's quite the desolate region. We're not necessarily the survivalists. We may have to enlist local help to at least find out what direction we're going in. May need some extra funds to handle that.
That'll be no problem. Get yourself a guide. Make sure you can pay him off.
Of course. We'll make sure we won't be talking about any of this. Let's say $5,000 worth of extra funds. We can make it happen. $10,000, we will make it happen.
10,000 it is.
Alright, we'll report our findings, but don't mind us if we go dark for a bit then. This sounds pretty high risk.
I don't expect to hear you unless you're back stateside with actionable intel.
Right. Good to be working with a professional. Scorpion crew out.
Scorpion crew!
Oh!
Alright, that's all.
Alright. So you dispatch your personal operatives to the task of scouting the Baffin Bay region for the Manifold Tower and collecting what intel they can on it. So that is going to be in progress. Anything else anybody doing before you bed down for the evening?
Did Katara want to have that conversation with Mr. G now, or just do that later at some point in the far future?
The only reason I would have had her brought it up is if she had known about what was being talked about, like in the event, like destruction, got to put down, stuff like that. So she, unless like something was brought up to her about it later, she probably wouldn't say anything right now.
I guess Chauncey would be the only one who might want to bring it up if you guys are being, just because everyone else is being uncomfortable. She's awesome. I really don't even care.
Katara is mainly interested in interested in Enyo for the. What was that?
That was my bad. Go on.
She's interested in Enyo just because of like the whole viral thing, and then like how she was able to somehow see that, and then not only that, but that it's a creation of Elliot. So she's just like, like I wonder what we could do.
See how Elliot.
And then especially after that email where it was like, this is a very, very big danger to us and people. If she wakes up without the program, she's like, oh. So she's highly interested in Enyo. Like, there hasn't been any reason for her to really fully untrust yet.
Wait. So you're telling me that if she woke up without the programming, she would be crazy powerful. So that means she is fully programmed.
She is crazy.
No,
powerful.
she is.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
she
well,
is crazy powerful.
I think you're
It's like-
referencing the file we read last time. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Project
if she
file.
woke up with programming, she would be a precision weapon for the manifold. If she
Yep.
does not wake up with programming, which she did, then she is a precision weapon to whoever finds her, which
yep.
we did.
Oh.
Yeah, because he basically was just.
Well,
he was
basically,
saying that
yeah,
it was-
the writing established. Yeah, it's like not that necessarily that should be a precision weapon to whoever finds her. It's just that nobody knows what would happen, and that's the
Yep.
scary part.
So that's got her like super interested as well. Again, like I said, there hasn't been anything so far other than the to get Katara to be like very suspicious of her. Other than the whole like I'm a manifold product. That's like a but she hasn't done anything so far. So
Eyebrow
she's
raise?
interested.
Again, she hasn't done it, but she can do things. that's the problem that I'm having currently.
Mhm.
And I don't mind any of it. But my troops, that's a lot of other people that
Oh yeah,
currently
definitely.
uneased by her presence.
But yeah, no, unless it was brought up to her, she wouldn't be saying anything.
Alright.
If anything, throughout the night, she just go relax with Neria, read the book, or start reading the book that she has,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then just like
So-
passing out.
Yeah. If you're still
That's a
getting a long
question that-
rest, I would say you could get in like 2 hours of reading on it tonight.
Okay.
That's another question that I had with Mr. G. I have no idea if he's read a book and if he did, when he did, because
All right, we'll have to
Yeah.
figure that out off stream. But
it's like his old he's just really old. This character sheet, and it started at like a really weird level.
all right. So if there's nothing else anybody's doing before you bed down for the evening, and you get those 2 hours of reading in.
Make sure
And-
Kevin knows that we got some labs to build.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got some labs to build.
Got some labs to build. My friend, you're gonna be busy.
So, as you make preparations and bed down for the evening for your long rest, Camp Clancy goes dark. You guys awaken the next morning. And that is going to be where we pick up next time.
I thought so.
So, we're going to be winding down for the evening. Thank you all very much for watching. Yeah, Skull Reaper here was here for quite a bit. That was nice to see him active in chat. But we'll be back next week in the same time slot, and we'll see where things go from here. Seems we've got lots of plans in motion. But until then, we'll see you all later. Peace. Squared. Have a good night. God bless.
Night, sweet dreams, all the good things.